Transurfer and the Transurfing Curious. My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is TransurfingTV. And this is going to be a follow-up to the Pendulums series that I did a little while back, because a few of you asked me to talk more about using the pendulum to do stuff for you in your life, right? Not just giving it a bunch of your time and energy and money and resources, but extracting from the pendulum things that you can use to further yourself and your layer of reality. It's actually quite simple. I've talked about this a number of times. One of my videos that I did that I really like on this subject is pendulums all up on my tip. My boyfriend was like, "Oh my God, Renee, you are so crass. I can't believe people watch your stuff." But this was really about me, turning the situation with certain pendulums upside down and gaining the benefit, gaining the upper hand. So I'm going to get into exactly what it is you can do to start using the pendulum to make you the star of the show, right? Rather than you tuning into the pendulum and it using your energy to, to be the star of your show, because that's kind of what a lot of people are doing. And here's the interesting part about my perspective of reality transurfing and this community. I think that this topic in particular is the topic of all topics that falls in line with one of my favorite sayings that I've ever created about reality transurfing. Knowledge without application is merely entertainment, right? So if you were one of the ones that asked, how can I use pendulums to benefit me in my reality? If you are not able to step away from your layer of reality to a standpoint where you can look at all the different components of your life, your energy levels, the pendulums that you give energy to, what it is that you're doing with your time and energy and all this stuff, if you are not able to take a step back and actually assess this information from a very logical standpoint, you're not going anywhere. You're absolutely not going to go anywhere. You've got to wake up. You've got to wake up. This sort of information is the kind of information that people love to, from my layer of reality, from my perspective, and all of my experiences with teaching this stuff. This is the type of information that people love to believe that they want to know and will utilize, but never do. Because the pendulum is just too captivating. So I'm going to get into my simple little formula of how you can use the pendulum to swing you up to some of those higher layers of reality instead of take you down to those lower ones, which is where a lot of people are existing right now. And it's pretty easy, but you got to wake up first. Before I get started on this, remember to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and comment below. Join us on the Facebook group, the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, course links below. Check out all our shirts, y'all, and everything that your little heart could desire down below. Okay, so I forgot what I named this one. That's really funny. Making pendulums your bitch. Okay, so making a pendulum your bitch. What does this mean exactly? Well, this means, first of all, that you wake up to the tactics and the manipulation that the pendulum uses to keep you its bitch, right? And here's the thing, so many people are sucked into the pendulum's vortex of, you know, everything that's happening right now with the world. I mean, honestly, I really don't know what's happening because I am so tuned out. It's almost shocking how well I have managed to turn down the volume on that channel, right? But I see people come into the group and they say things like, how am I supposed to apply transurfing to help me navigate the current situation? And I'm like, what's the situation? I don't know what the situation is. I mean, I know that there's like COVID out there, and I know that some stuff's kind of weird with like employment, but beyond that, like I really don't know any of the details. It's not affecting me in my life. A lot of times the advice that I give people is create a massive creative project for yourself and just focus on that. And I swear to God, the entire world and that entire situation will just disappear. And this is what I've done. So if you are tuning in to the news, if you are on social media reading about schmaxine stuff, I don't want to say the actual words, and schmovid, and you know, you're paying attention to that version of reality. Your pendulum food, right? Your pendulum food, the pendulum has got you right where it wants you, and your reality is affected negatively in two ways. One, it's pulling you in to this vortex, right? This downward spiral, because what you focus on exponentially increases in your layer of reality. That's why the people that you know in your life that are really, really tuned in, they are really, really not doing well because they have a lot of this crap, right? They're on some of these lower levels. All is going to hell. The whole world's, you know, ruined. What are we going to do? The situation's so horrible. And you got to wake up to that, right? In my opinion, now this is just my opinion. You can take it or leave it. I don't have any room in my life for any of that crap. None, not even a little bit. So first off, if I focus on it just a little bit, it'll hook me in some way. So I know that. And secondly, I'm so immersed in my creation process. This little bit of information that could start a negative vortex down, it doesn't play any part of my layer of reality. So if you want to make the pendulum your bitch, right, you're going to have to wake up to this if this is you. There's no way around it. You can't have both, right? You can't have both. You can't be a master and a creator and also a victim of circumstance and a victim of the schmovid situation, right? So how would you make that pendulum your bitch? So this is an interesting question, and it's kind of being revealed to you right now in this video. So times are a little bit weird, right? I do know that. I know that lots of businesses are shut down, and where I live, there's no stay-at-home order, but I know in a lot of other places there is, and there still is a vibe of that a little bit. So if you've disappeared into your layer of reality, you've done a disappearing act, nobody's gonna notice, right? Nobody's gonna notice. So for the last 2 years since Schmovid appeared, I have dove into my creative process, created my own layer of reality, created a world that has absolutely nothing to do with Schmovid, right? Nothing to do with Schmovid. So this is me taking advantage of the pendulum of the times, right? Everyone else is focused on Schmovid and what's going wrong. And in the meantime, I've created my own world. Nobody even notices me gone. And I'm in a, I'm in a state of productivity, creativity, luxuriating in the reality that I've created for myself. And to stay in this place, all I've got to do is focus on all the stuff I want and I love. Making money, doing things that have to do with loving things, loving the people in my life, loving myself. I mean, the cool thing is like before Schmovid happened, I was also working real estate. So I was either filming videos or I was at the real estate office. Now that I'm not doing real estate anymore and I'm really just doing this exclusively, yesterday I took a 2.5 hour bath and I just sat there, Epsom salts, luxuriated in my bathtub, wrote a bunch of stuff for my book on my phone, did a bunch of social media stuff, self-cared like crazy, right? I get to be creative. I don't have to focus on what I don't want to focus on. So this brings me to an example that everyone can apply starting today that is struggling with being in this mode and wanting to be in this mode, right? On my social media, if you look, my Facebook profile, I don't have a single friend. I don't have a single picture of me. Except for my profile picture. I don't have any information. I don't have anything on there. I don't participate with people on Facebook other than the Facebook group. I don't look at people's feeds. I don't scroll any feed for any reason ever. My Instagram account, I don't follow anybody. I don't have any followers. I don't have a feed. My TikTok, I don't have a feed. I don't watch YouTube videos. I don't consume any information or social media content whatsoever because I am not going to be the bitch of that pendulum, right? We all know that the agenda and all the negativity of the current times is being perpetuated by media and social media. I don't watch the news. I don't participate or digest any social media content. So I'm protecting myself from this, right? I don't get fed weird things. I don't see desperate situations. I don't see horrible news. I don't see propaganda. None of that stuff. None of that's in my layer of reality. However, I do use social media and I probably spend more time on social media than anyone watching this video. Like my social media relationship is pretty intense. I make a ton of content. I map out content. I am always in a state of writing something, making trans questions, planning podcasts with Xavier Watercane, planning video ideas, all of this stuff, making the little shorts of me dancing. By the way, those shorts are a really good example. A lot of people have asked me like, Renee, what the fuck's up with the dancing videos? And really, this is just my way of like giving myself a little frequency boost, right? Anytime I feel my energy levels going down just a little bit, maybe a little bit of information somehow did find its way to me and I'm going down just a little bit. If I ever sense that I am in need of a frequency boost and you see one of my dancing videos, this is exactly why I'm doing the dancing video. I am using the pendulum for my benefit, right? So instead of getting a little bit of information and being like, oh, what the hell was that, right? And then feeling the need to go and discover more about this thing. I'll give you an example. The other day I was working out with my personal trainer and he told me about this thing. I don't know what it was. I haven't looked into it, but he said that there was like some concert where a bunch of kids got killed. And I was just like, oh, really? That's weird. And that's it, right? He's like, oh my God, it was really crazy. These kids were dying of heart attacks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't then finish my training session and go to research the weird event that happened, right? Because that's the seed. That's the seed, that's the hook. Once I'm there, I'll get fed something else. And then before I know it, I've fallen down a rabbit hole of negative information that is going to do me absolutely no good in my layer of reality. But when I get home, I definitely do research and use the internet and use social media to keep my trajectory upward towards those higher layers of reality. So let me think of a couple of other examples for you, because I know these are really, really easy ones, but of course we live in a multifaceted reality where there are lots and lots of options. Let's say that you don't like your job, you don't like your 9-to-5, and it's got you down. You go into the office and your emotional state immediately becomes compromised. How can you figure out a way to renegotiate with that pendulum, your 9-to-5, so you are tourniqueting your loss, right? And finding a way to engage with that pendulum so you can extract more from it than it is extracting from you. Maybe this is you starting to really assess the situation and figure out ways in which you can actually detach from this pendulum and maybe start your own business that's in line with what it is you do for the 9-to-5. This would be using that pendulum to extract information and ideas, whatever it is that you need, so you can use it in your own layer of reality, taking control and start creating something on your own that doesn't have anything to do with the pendulum. Maybe you are in a dysfunctional relationship and your partner is getting a ton of time and energy from you. Now, that's kind of a complex one, because you're not really interested in like making that, or it's not really a good thing for you to be making that other person your bitch, right? But look at it like this. If you are in a perpetual habit of getting into dysfunctional relationships and they're taking you down to some of those lower layers of reality, and your reality is suffering, your creativity is suffering, you don't have the money that you want, you definitely don't have the love that you want, how can you start to rework your relationship with the idea of love so it benefits you? My first thought is commit to being single for a couple of years and really start to self-love and self-care. This is definitely going to be using the pendulum of, love, turning it around and going within and finding that for yourself so you can do this, right? It really is, at the end of the day, and I could go on and on about it for a long time, but at the end of the day, it really is about you assessing your relationship with the pendulums in your reality, deciding what you can use, what you don't need any more of, how you can gain the upper hand, and what needs to go, right? What you can use, what you don't need any more of, how you can gain control, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to really get in there. You got to really get in there and start to rework those situations. The first one that I would challenge everyone struggling with their reality right now, give up media, give up social media, right? Don't consume content. Start making content. Start creating something of your own. I know that's probably something that most YouTubers won't tell you, but stop watching videos on YouTube. Start making videos on YouTube. Start doing something that is going to yield you results, benefit, reward in your layer of reality, and not just give it all away to everyone else all the time. So I hope this was clarifying. Go back and take a look at that video. Pendulums all up on my tip, and I'm curious to hear your thoughts. For those of you that requested this video, Please let me know if I covered it for you and what you think, and I will see you all next time. Bye, guys.